Actually, Andy Robertson there, you know, not quite pushing a panic button, but certainly asking for the fans to believe in them and saying that, calling on all his teammates to turn things around. How difficult is that when you've got into a bit of a rut like they have at the moment?
It's very difficult as they're finding out, because I'm sure this isn't the first time that they've done that this season. And I've been in teams before where you lose a few games and it's not going well. He's sending out all the right messages. I think he said all the right things, and it's players like him and the older players that are going to have to pull this together, because the manager can pick a team and put out, choose a formation and a style of play, which is questionable as well, I think, at the minute. But for the older players in the team or the more experienced players, you've got World Cup winners in that team.
Around, they haven't gained a point yet from a losing position in this Premier League season, and it seems to me like when something goes against this side right now, they're unable to rouse themselves, to galvanise themselves in order to turn things around, whether that's a nervousness issue. Maybe they enjoy games like the Champions League this week, where teams are going to come and try and play, teams are going to come at them, and Liverpool have to concentrate for longer periods of time. And maybe it's the games against Nottingham Forest where they're going to have 70% of the ball, and maybe the concentration isn't as sharp because they're not having to do as much defending. I think those are the three things that really stood out to me around confidence levels, games needing to improve, and supporters as well. Really revealing stuff, I thought.
Is it the manner that they're losing at the moment? We've seen, like as Dave pointed out there, 3-0 defeats to City, to Forest earlier on in the season as well. They were squeaking wins at the beginning of the season, and now they're emphatically losing. It's $1 million question. Can you sum it up? What's going on?
Getting wins. The one weekend against Nottingham Forest was probably one of the worst ones that I've seen this season, and it was from the front to back. And I can kind of understand the fans' frustration, although it's unlike Liverpool fans to vent that. But they've had a lot to cheer. One of the other things as well is, I think that when they were so desperate to win the league, it is hard to repeat that, although you're defending it and you want to defend it as well as you can, but that desperation to win isn't quite there. But for me, they've just got to get back to clean sheets and doing each action well. So starting games better, ending halves better, starting the second half better. Get back to some form of base, where you can a platform that you can go and play into, and then you've got the likes of your attacking players that you then hope that they'll go on and win the game. And if they don't, you get a 0-0 at best, at worst, sorry. That's
the worry, isn't it? Some of their attacking players aren't quite getting it right. The likes of a £125 million signing, Alexander Isak and Ekitike as well. It's just not quite gelling in the area that actually they focused on. Yeah, and I do think I'm not sure what it is, but I think there's something in the Ekitike-Isak situation, because Ekitike was actually really good at the start of the season, and then he just instantly got replaced by Isak, which I can understand because he got bought in as with such a high price tag on him, and he was always going to start. But I feel like something happened there that upset the rhythm of the squad a little bit, and they're now trying to recover from that. And that's not Isak's fault, and it's not Arne Slot's fault necessarily, because I think any team in the league would have taken Isak if they had the chance. I'm not sure whether he should have just went straight into the team, and it started to all kind of unravel since then. I don't know what you think about substitutions and whether that, not necessarily putting extra pressure on the players, but it seems to me towards the back end of games when things aren't going well, Arne Slot has decided to essentially throw all his attackers on, roll the dice, not throw everyone on, but take a step back and go, I'm going to stick to what we're doing. This is how I'm not going to chuck everyone on. And maybe plan things a bit more? Is there something in that? Well, I think going back a little bit, last season I could see the changes, especially in midfield and the way they attacked from the Jurgen Klopp team. He'd adjusted a few little things. This season I'm struggling to actually see what they're actually trying to do, because they're definitely not defending very well, and they're not seeming to be able to create good chances. Now, in terms of the substitutions at the end of the game, I understand you're trying to get a goal, so you want to put on all your goal scorers or all your creative players, but sometimes it's a case of just letting the players that are in the rhythm and within the game and let it come to them. Don't hit because it seems as a player, you look across, our managers hit the panic button, let's just get it forward as quick as possible, and everything goes out, all tactics go out the window. So I think that the manager does need to manage the games a little bit better, as well as the players, and that's why I said at the start, it's a collective, it's the whole football club have to get themselves out of this little situation they're in. Yeah, and it's interesting. That's what he was, given all the praise for, wasn't that? That in-game tactics that he was doing last season that won them the title. And yet, like you say, it almost was panic button time the weekend. OK, we're going to hear from Arne Slot at 6 o'clock, so stay with us for that. Still to come on the Premier League show, though. We're going to preview what is set to be a massive night in the Champions League for 3 Premier League teams. Plus, where did it go wrong for Manchester United last night?
Liverpool's recent slide has stopped being a series of bad days and started to feel systemic. The 0-3 home defeat to Nottingham Forest was not an anomaly, but the clearest illustration yet. A team that won the title last season now suffers from recurring tactical confusion, fragile defensive structure, and a forwards unit that lacks consistent cutting edge. In the space of a few weeks, Liverpool have lost the rhythm that wants to find them, and the problems are both personnel and conceptual. On the personnel front, the signs are obvious. Florian Wirtz, the marquee summer arrival, still searches for a settled role. Deployed in different positions and asked to pick up defensive duties he rarely had at his previous club, he has struggled to influence games in the final third. Alexander Isak has been fit, but not fully match-sharp after a delayed integration, and the team lacks a reliable, in-form focal striker to finish chances. Mohamed Salah's numbers have dipped from last season. Fewer touches in the box, fewer shots per game, and an overall decline in high-quality chances. A slump that removes Liverpool's safety valve in tight matches. Tactically, Slot's side shows worrying inconsistencies. Pressing triggers are mistimed, fullback channels are routinely exposed, and transitions are slow and predictable. When the team presses high, it often concedes space behind. When it sits deeper, it forfeits control and creativity. Defensively, there is insufficient coordination on covering runs, and set-piece organization has been porous. The captain and senior figures are still performing, but leadership alone cannot compensate for a lack of coherent structure. Off-field dynamics compound the problem. Rapid recruitment has produced quality on paper, but delayed chemistry on the pitch. Frequent rotation has prevented a stable starting 11 from forming. Slot has repeatedly pleaded for patience while promising tactical adjustments, but time is not a luxury he currently possesses. Injuries have not helped, and marginal refereeing calls or VAR controversies have added noise to what are principally footballing issues. The remedy is clear in outline. Simplify roles, protect creative players with a more stable midfield spine, restore defensive communication, and give key forwards consistent minutes to build rhythm. Whether Slot can orchestrate those changes quickly enough remains the central question. The club has the resources and the players, but converting potential into consistent performance will determine whether this season is salvaged or slips into a longer-term crisis.